Oh, sorry, Kentucky. And now we're gonna walk for roughly an hour
Yeah.
to what's this called?
Niboshi ramen do.
Niboshiramaru. Okay. Also, a little bit more on the north side of Tokyo. So we'll just go and talk a little bit about what happened in 2020. And I guess nobody's watching yet,
Maybe we
but
should. I'll, I'll put it up on the Discord.
yeah, that would be great. So we're just gonna walk for like an hour and talk a little bit about the bowls we had in 2020, or let's say top three of 2020, and bowls that were interesting for us in 2020, as well as, let's say, the weirdest or a little bit out there bowls that we had. And we also want to talk about the bowls that we thought were a little bit overhyped. And of course, we're gonna put up this stream as a video for you guys, so you can watch it whenever you like. I'll also put this up if you just want to listen to it. You don't have to watch the whole thing. I'll also put it up as a podcast to wherever you get your podcasts. I'm gonna distribute it through Anchor, so you can get it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever. And yeah, so you can access it from wherever you like. You don't actually have to watch us walk through the Japanese neighborhood
Yeah.
areas. So we're all gonna walk like, I think, Japanese back streets here in the north of Tokyo. So if you just like these kind of walking videos, I think that should be right up your alley. And but yeah, let's start with what's currently going on in Japan. I think that's always a question that people have with the whole COVID situation. I think just to get that out of the way, we're currently having like a state of emergency here in Tokyo, where everything has to close at like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
and it's relatively strictly followed. I recently walked for like 2 hours from Shinjuku to Shibuya-ish, and on the way there, walking for 2 hours, I only saw like three or four open restaurants and bars. So it's actually really strictly followed, even though it's not mandatory. You know why they are all closing, right? They're getting
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, they I think if I recall correctly, they all get 60,000 yen if they close up shop at 8 o'clock. And then they also they need to stop serving alcohol by 7. And yeah, I think they get like 60,000 yen per day, I think.
This is like $500, $600.
Yeah, to as like an incentive to close. So yeah, a lot of ramen shops that used to be like open for lunch and then close and then open back up for dinner. A lot of them are actually now just doing like a straight 11 to like 6. Sometimes they'll stay open till 8. Sometimes you just don't give a shit and then they close the entire month that they'll be having this. But yeah, kind of makes it better for me, I guess. I'm working from home anyway, so I'll just like sneak out for a ramen for lunch, and then regardless of what time I leave my house, I can feasibly get it as long as I'm there before like 5 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah, but it limits a little bit the time that you have in the evening to actually get to places that are a little bit farther out there. So like I'm working full time, and get off work maybe 6, 7 sometimes, and if you need an hour to get to a place, it's just simply not possible at the moment.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are first world level complaints right here. In general, the situation is still far more under control than in other places, I would say. But yeah, it is what it is. So no late night ramen at the moment available. Not that anybody would care. I can't go anywhere for drinking anyway. So that's that. But in general, we're doing fine here. So then, now that that's out of the way, let's go to 2020.
Yeah.
2020, our bowls, what we did, where we went, and our top bowls of 2020. What should we start with?
Whichever one you want to.
All right. Then I see a couple of guys have now joined. So I would say let's get the top category out of the way first.
Yeah.
Top three bowls of 2020. I think three. With doesn't have to like be a strict order. Just like three excellent bowls that you had in 2020. All right. You would like to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I kind of thought about this on our way to the first ramen shop, but I guess for me, one of my favorites in 2020 was this place called Suzoni or Suzuki. It's a shop located in Mitaka. For lunch, they serve this really weird kind of like chicken shio ramen. It's really unique. It's not like the typical kind of like light-based chicken ramen, but their lunchtime menu is really good. But I think like I want to say like a year and a half ago, they started a evening-only menu where they serve this spicy. It's a mix between a jiro, ararin ramen, and tapioca sour ramen. And it's like this really nice kind of like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just a really great spicy ramen. And I actually went there with Ramen Beast, and yeah, Abram and I both kind of like had a consensus, and we just realized that's probably the best spicy ramen in Tokyo. Like it was seriously like on another level in terms of like how great it was. I'll pull up a picture on my Instagram.
They call it like stamina ramen or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so
So-
it was called Stamina Manten Ramen, Ramen Suzuki, and it's in Mitaka. And that's what it looks like.
All right. Now that looks like a heavy spicy bowl.
Yeah, and like they draw inspiration from both. So like the noodles are gyro style, so they're really fat, kind of. Yeah, it's essentially like the noodles that you'll get at a gyro, and then they combine
on a
some
second.
spiciness with.
All right.
They combine some spiciness with like a tapioca sour ramen, which is like really popular in the Chiba prefecture. And then there's a third shop called Ararin Ramen, which is a shop I've never been, but it's also in Chiba. And yeah, if you really look at the three bowls, you can kind of see exactly where he takes the inspirations from for each bowl. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorite bowls of 2020.
All right. That's a strong start. I have not been to that one. I'm gonna kick off my top three with one that we've been to together. I think you would probably also put it among your top three. It's actually the one that I just published a video about, Yotsuba, near Kawagoe, roughly near Kawagoe.
Near Kawagoe.
So it's a bowl in the deep countryside of, well, I think I would still say like the general Tokyo area, deep in Saitama somewhere. It's a real trek to get there. And what's really good about them is it's like this ultra refined place in the middle of nowhere. And I got the chicken hamaguri bowl, and I like just this deep punch of the hamaguri clams, and the topping game was on a whole nother level. I think that was probably the best topping ensemble that I got on any bowl in 2020, with the hamaguri clams with some really nice sous vide, like slabs of meat actually draped on top. The ajitama was fantastic, and one of the specialties at this shop is you can also order sushi. I think
yeah.
there's a sushi shop next door.
No, that's it. That's just what they
Or does
do.
it
They
belong
just
to-
have like sushi at the
Right.
restaurant.
But you can, as a side dish, you can order some sushi there. I mean, is it really necessary to order sushi at a ramen place? Debatable, but it's one of the things that they do. And that was probably, easily one of my top bowls of 2020, top three, at least, if not even the number one. It's hard to say, but yeah, that would combined with the, let's say, adventure to like get there and then walking back from there on a hot summer day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely awesome experience. So, next one on your list.
I was gonna add that, but since you've already added it,
Right.
I feel like maybe for like variety aspect, I'll choose a different ramen shop. I guess like everyone knows that I'm a huge Jiro fan, and so yeah, I guess I'll add my favorite Jiro bowl that I had last year, which was probably the one in Koiwa.
Was it Shinkoiwa or just Koiwa?
I think it was just Koiwa Station, and
Awesome.
yeah, they serve a onion kimchi there that as a topping that was like, I don't know, probably one of my favorite kimchi toppings of any of the Jiro locations.
Onion kimchi.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic.
He trained at the Yokohama Kanai location, which also serves a kimchi. But I don't know, their bowl, they weren't quite as emulsified as a lot of other shops, but they still had a good quality, kind of like good. It wasn't just like a regular like a tonkotsu ramen. So that I really liked. The owner there is really unique. I follow his Instagram, and he's like a huge kind of like otaku essentially, and he's like super into like anime and stuff. But yeah, like this unique guy, huge guy. He's got to be at least like 190, 190 centimeters, and like 110, 20 kilograms. Just like this massive dude, like a typical kind of like hard ass Jiro master who's just making like these pretty phenomenal Jiro bowls. And yeah, like he was like one of the only ones too to do the ticketing system, where you come and then he hands you like a ticket to come, what time to get back to the store. And so I really appreciated that. So yeah, I think that was my favorite Jiro bowl of 2020.
All right, good choice, good choice. Then for my second choice, I'm actually going outside of Tokyo for this one. And definitely one of my top experiences was to go to Kitakata this year. I went to Kitakata, and those videos are coming soon in the next couple of months or so. And I went to the famous Bannai Shokudo.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I misspoke. It wasn't Koya. I meant to say Kameido.
Kameido.
And
Right.
this is the bowl. Can you see it?
Yeah, I think it's there. Here's the kimchi.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, the Kameido location was really good.
All right. So yeah, for me, Bannai Shokudo in Kitakata, probably the most famous Kitakata ramen place. They also have like a franchise here in Tokyo. It's called I think just Kitakata Bannai or something like that. But the original one in Kitakata definitely was like all I expected. It was really the Kitakata style that you can see that all the others draw inspiration from. And I was really blown away not only by the soup and noodles, which I guess they're famous for, but also the chashu. That was just really mind blowing. They had like this classic Chinese style chashu with the red rim, and I was really surprised like how much that actually blew me away. And as you're saying in chat, it seems like there's Bannai in the US as well. I'm not sure, are they related? Is that actually from the people that run Bannai Shokudo in Kitakata? If so, I mean, good for them. Because I went to the Kitakata Bannai in Tokyo, and it's good. It's coming close. It's definitely. I think we lost our way. It's definitely close to what you get in Kitakata. But yeah, you notice like there's like nuances where they're just not reaching the same level as if you go to the main store, and it's definitely worth visiting Kitakata in general. I went to 2 stores in Kitakata. I went that day, and the good thing is like it's not very heavy. So you can easily, if you pace yourself a little bit with the toppings, you can have multiple bowls in one day easily. And yeah, I think that's my second choice. So third one.
Yeah, this is probably pretty like, I don't know, cliche almost to say now. But yeah, last year was the first time I got to try kohaku. Um, and like
Somebody called it, somebody in chat called it.
Everyone said, I mean, literally everyone was like, yo, this place is like one of the best.
Yeah.
So last year was the first time I got to go. I went twice. I got both the shoyu and the shio. I think I got the shoyu when I went with you.
Yeah.
And then I tasted your soup and realized how much better that one was.
The shio was fantastic.
So
It's
I
like
went again.
so packed with flavor, with this shijimi, the like super small clam flavor. It's so good.
But yeah, like yeah, I mean they get it from Shinjuku, which is a lake in, what is it, western side of Japan. And yeah, the soup is just really refined. I really liked how much kind of like umami, as well as like just like regular, it just seems like, it just feels like you're having a spoonful of just every delicious kind of flavor notes you can get from the ocean. And it was like one of those things that everything kind of paired and came together harmoniously. And I really loved the balance of everything. And yeah, so that's got to be up there in my favorite ramen of 2020.
I think it's just for me, top 10 for me of 2020, it definitely would be in. Top 3, it's missing a little bit because in 2020, I mean, I'm catching up here. He went to a lot of places that I still have to go to. So for me, one of the 2020 highlights was for sure going to Tomita.
Oh.
So that's my number 3 pick.
Can't really fault anyone if they've never been to Tomita and they go for the first time.
I mean, it's just so good. And I even made the mistake of not getting like sufficient toppings. I probably got like a little bit intimidated by the
I really should
whole
write a
setup,
review
but-
about that because so many people end up making that mistake.
Yes, you absolutely should. And I was so sad when I saw like them setting up all the meat, and then they make like those huge ass shumai,
Yeah.
and they looked so good. And the little bit of meat that I got was also fantastic. But I was just so sad when I saw like the tray of meat with the shumai and all kinds of cuts that other people got, and all I got was like 2 measly like pieces of chashu like this. And it was just so depressing. But still, even though I made this mistake, it was still so good, so up there. And then the whole experience. Probably everyone who's watching this has seen Ramen Heads, right? And has watched the whole thing and has seen Tomita in like other videos and whatnot. And yeah, then actually like seeing him like a couple of meters in front of you, preparing everything, it's just cool.
Yeah.
And there's just something about it. And yeah, it's a little bit like meeting a superstar, but he makes ramen for you. Yeah, that was definitely, experience-wise and bowl-wise, easily top 3. Probably number 1 if I had gotten all the chashu.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you come to Japan and you don't go to Tomita, I don't know. I don't even know what you're doing with your ramen life.
If you're like a true kind of like ramen fanatic, that is definitely one of the places that is worth the hype. I don't think I've ever met a fellow like ramen enthusiast who went to Tomita and thought like, oh yeah, that was a waste of my time. like yes, it's a trek to get there. It's kind of a pain to like have to go in the morning and get your ticket for the afternoon and like just I guess kill time until when your reservation is. They do have if you use the app, the Omakase app, you can make reservations now, which can cut like some of your wait time a little bit. But I don't know, I think yeah, it's a great experience to go out there and have Tomita. The Skimin is by far probably like, yeah, number one in Japan. So
Yeah,
Um,
easily.
yeah, like I think the experience and the wait and everything really is worth it once you finally have the bowl.
For sure. Completely agree. And one of the things I like is that you actually don't have to wait for a long time,
Uh-huh.
but you just have to like kind of, you can't really travel to far away other places because you have to like be there in the morning when they sell the tickets at like 8.
Yeah.
And I mean, I waited for like what, 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that. And then they tell you the time, you come back, and then it's maybe a 10-15 minute wait. So you're not wasting a lot of time. So you can still, like, I don't know, if you want to check out some department stores or like big camera or like, go to pachinko and do whatever you do in Japan, then, it's not a lot of wasted time. It's just that you're like a little bit locally restricted in your activities. But yeah, I think that's not big news that Tomita is a great ramen shop. No surprises here. But for me personally, yeah, the 2020 thing, I think it sums it really well up. That for me, like these kind of famous shops are up there because I'm still working through all these lists of great shops, of top shops. And then I hear, like, for example, Cody is like almost done with the Tabelog Hyakumeten, the top 100 shops in Tokyo. And I'm at like, what was it, 28 or something like that. But yeah, considering that like I've really upped my game only for in the last 2 years or so, I think that's pretty okay. It's pretty good. So those were the top shops for 2020. Any honorable mentions? Anything that you go like, that was a close number 4?
Honorable mentions. Let's see. What are some good ones? There were like a lot of like unique ones that I really liked. That to me it was like it kind of stirred up some I guess like different thoughts of like how ramen can be presented in Japan. One of them was what is the name of that place? Naraseme,
Okay.
which is a shop that doesn't use kansei alkaline in their noodles. And I had this conversation with a lot of like ramen otakus and like ramen enthusiasts in Japan, and it was like interesting because no one in Japan cared. It was like, okay, I mean, it's obviously ramen. The shop owner himself doesn't call it ramen, but like all the ramen otakus, ramen enthusiasts, it's like, it's obviously ramen. I eat it and I think, okay, these noodles taste like somen. And it's kind of weird. But then like I had this conversation within like the Discord, and like people were like getting kind of pissed at like people were calling it ramen when it was using noodles that didn't have
Technically udon,
alkaline.
right?
Yeah. And I don't know, I thought that was like just an interesting perspective on how ramen is moving in Japan, and like different people's opinions on what is classified as ramen. Like to me, after having that, it just got to the point where it's like you know what? I don't think it really cares. I don't think it really matters. Like alkaline or not, like I mean, if you have that bowl, it's just like, yeah, this is ramen.
This is
it
good.
Looks like ramen. The soup tastes like ramen. Yes, the noodles kind of taste a little off, but it was I don't know, it was like whatever to me. I thought it wasn't like I'm not gonna put it in like my top 50 ramen shops you have to visit in Japan or anything, but it's one of those shops that kind of like changed my views and opinions on ramen in general.
I think it teaches us to be a little bit less dogmatic about what ramen has to be or what ramen should be, I guess. Yeah, for me, honorable mentions, just outside of the top 3 would be Konjiki. I went to Konjiki, which is also absolutely incredible. I mean, no surprise here with the Michelin star. And recently, Mugi to Olive, I have to revisit. I didn't get the pure clam bowl, which apparently is absolutely fantastic. So I'm maybe heading out with the noodle slurp, Michael, sometime soon. And yeah, I think anything else that comes to mind. Otherwise, we'll jump to a next category I was just thinking about. And you just already said like your top Jiro bowl this year. You already mentioned that one. Okay, so then let's go for number 2 on your list.
Second favorite Jiro bowl that I had. I guess in terms of like experience and just like doing it essentially and going out and having it, the one in Ibaraki was like a little bit memorable just because that was like the first one I went to where I literally had to like wake up at like 7 a.m. and like leave and catch the train for like 2 hours. And it's like a 15-20 minute walk from the station. Yeah, so the Ibaraki Moriete is like, and you know, they're really good as well. If they didn't have a skim-in menu option, I said that I would not go back there. But since they do, I really want to try it. So I will be back there sometime this year probably. But overall, as an experience and just being able to have it finally and it being so far away, I think that was one of my more memorable Jiros last year.
All right, and I think from my side, I think the one we went together in Omiya, I really like that one because it gave me a little bit of a different perspective on Jiro.
Yeah.
With the grated ginger on top.
And that was like a super light one too.
Yeah. So it also like pushes the boundaries a little bit of what Jiro can be. And for me personally, after having tried that, I was really wondering like, why is this not a thing everywhere? To give the grated fresh ginger as an option, like you give with the garlic or whatever. Because it just transforms the whole experience so much. And it makes the whole bowl almost light in a way because it just cuts through all the fat and the richness so much without like overpowering it. Because I mean, there's like 2 really, really strong flavors, or like not only 2, but like there's a lot going on, and you add that and it can't overpower it. But it cuts it so much down that it almost turns it into a light soup. So I was really fascinated by like how different it can be just by this through this edition. So I really like that one. But I think it's not the only one that has grated ginger.
Yeah, there's
as a free
more.
topping, right? But it was the first one for me, so for me that was probably the best Jiro experience in 2020.
The one in Yokohama Kanai has beni shogun, so pickled ginger.
Yeah.
That's really
I think
nice.
that could do something similar, right? Oh, we're... All right, we're being a little bit in the way for people here. Yeah, but that was Jiro, the top Jiro for 2020. And then let's do overrated ones. Things that are a bowl or a place where you thought like, I expected it to be better, or you heard good things about it and you were just lukewarm once you actually got it.
I mean, straight up, I'm sure everyone who like personally talks to me knows that I did not like kamoto negi. Like that shit was not duck confit. Like I've had proper duck confit at like, actual restaurants, and like I don't know. I guess like maybe they did try to confit it, but it's not the same flavor profile for me. The negi was like way overhyped. I don't understand what, like everyone was like raving about how great their negi, and I was like, it was okay. So yeah, that's definitely the one that I thought was overhyped the most. But like, to vary it out so that people aren't like super hearing me complain about the same thing over and over again. I guess like another one that was like, now that I let it like sink in, and I've been writing these skim-in guides, and I realized that like Higashi Ikebukuro Taishoken skim-in is pretty overrated. Even within the Marucho Marushin Taishoken group, like I don't even think that cracks my top 5. Like the Marucho one was way better. I think the Nakano Taishoken was a lot better. And yeah, it just like, I don't know, like I get it, it's historical and it has its place as the originator of skimming. But honestly, like when I had some guy comment like, oh, you know, I tried it and I didn't even think it was that good. Maybe I have to like go again to like like maybe like try it and see it from a different eye. And I was like, no, I mean, if you didn't like it the first time, I can
not gonna
guarantee
be
you it's not
different.
going to be different. Like,
That's what it is.
yeah, that's
what it is.
exactly what it is. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not like there was anything bad with it. It's not like I didn't enjoy my bowl, but like I did feel that it was a little bit overhyped. It wasn't something that I went and had like a mind-blown experience just because it was the first skimming. It was kind of like, and I mean, I felt the same way with ganja, right?
Yeah.
Ganja's the first skimming restaurant
Let's
to
go
use
there.
like gyofu, like powdered dried fish. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is whatever. Like, I get it, it's the first shop, and I get that it's like one of the best skimming in Saitama, but I don't know. It seemed overhyped to me. So those three, I guess, were like the ones that I thought they weren't bad, but they didn't meet my own expectations that I had for those shops.
Yeah, the first one doesn't necessarily have to be the best one in that sense, especially when you think about that. At some point, they get also stuck in their recipes, their processes that they have, because they know like their regulars, they like that stuff. They don't want to like change it up too much and have people complain, oh, why are you changing this, you know, this great recipe? Please keep doing it the way you do. But it also means you're missing out on innovations and in ways of like recreating and maybe creating something better. But I mean, at the end of the day, there's still a lot of people who like exactly that.
Yeah.
And in the end, it's a business, and you give the people what they want, right?
Yeah.
All
Again,
right.
it's not bad. It's not like I hate that shop.
No,
Like,
no, no.
I think they're all like good shops. I think they're all top quality. It's just that they get a little bit more hype than I think that they're deserving of, and I think their reputation and like their prestige kind of like plays a pretty big factor in how popular they are.
I mean, of course, they also have like some historical value. For
Yeah.
example, we went to what's it called, Zunbar, the original
Oh, yeah, that was
Afuri,
pretty bad,
right?
too. That
So-
wasn't bad. It didn't meet my expectations of what I thought I would get when I got there.
Yeah, so I think that would be one of my letdowns of 2020 because it's a fucking trek to this place. It takes like, I don't know, it took us like 1.5 hours to get there and like
Probably.
2.5 hours back because there was like traffic while coming back to Tokyo, because I think we went on a Sunday and there was like, you know, people coming back from the mountains and so on. And for that, it's just not good enough. It's just like a slightly better Afuri.
If
And yeah, I mean, I liked it.
honestly, it's just like Afri.
I think personally, I liked it a little bit better. I thought it was just this little bit extra better, but yeah, definitely not worth it to go all the way out there. And but that would not have been my original pick, but I just came up with that because we were talking about it. My original pick for letdown of 2020 would be Honda in Mendokuro Honda in Akihabara. I think it's praised a lot, and you pay a premium price when you get there.
Here's the thing about Honda though, is they changed their menu when they went to Akihabara. So like, because the hype that you heard is from their original location, or
Right.
I mean, that's not even their original location. It's like their second location. But like, because of the hype that you heard from their second location, I could understand how you would go there now and then have it and think like, oh, like I don't really understand what it was all like. Everyone
Yeah,
was
what it's all
talking
about, right?
With that said, like that style is still good. It's just, it's rather expensive for what you're getting.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's a mixture of expectations and price, and maybe me having had like too many of the exact same style recently. And don't get me wrong, it's good. It's it's also super easily accessible right next to Akihabara Station, right? So it's an easy, quick visit, right? But for that, for the regular bowl, you already pay like what, 1,200, 1,300 yen, which is like that's the price you pay for tokisei bowls, like with all the toppings at our places. And if you want to go for like the whole topping bowl with everything on there, you're like in the 2,000 yen range, which I think is a little bit harsh for what it is. But I mean, they have the line out. Again, good business. They're making money, and can't fault them. But for me, that was a little bit of a letdown for the expectations that were set, and also for the price.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think I wouldn't fault anyone for thinking the same thing when having Honda, especially now at their new location. It's just way different from what their bread and butter was in their location prior. So it's a little bit of a disappointment, I guess.
Yeah, not saying it's bad. No, just to make it clear, it's still a very good bowl, and definitely worth a visit, especially if you're in Akihabara anyway for whatever nerd reasons. Yeah, so that's my letdown of 2020. And now let's go to, let's say, not necessarily best, but let's say interesting or weird or like just memorable experiences of 2020.
Yeah.
You got some stories?
Yeah, so on that same day, I went to the Ibaraki Morieten location of Jiro. I actually went and walked down towards Saitama, and I went to this place called Men ya Kuriyaji no Doraku. And honestly, I'd never even heard about it until I was there. After I finished my bowl at Jiro, I was like, okay, I'm already in Ibaraki. I might as well try something in the area because I just spent so long coming here. And so I opened up Ramen DB, and this ramen shop comes up. And again, I've never heard of it before. And I look at the menu, and I realized that a lot of the people who were reviewing were talking about how great their specialty menu items were. And I had just missed the November specialty, which was like a really pork heavy like ramen. And then I wasn't quite sure what the December menu was. So, but you know, given that I was in the area and it's so far from where I live, I figured I'll have a try. And I went there, and they had these oyster kaki ramen.
Oh,
it's
that
like
sounds good.
kaki shabu ramen. So it's like shabu shabu with the kaki oysters. And
So it means like you just like you get
it's
it
like-
raw on the side, or
yeah.
okay.
And then it was like really good. So this is my bowl. And
Oh, it's pretty
what
good.
made it quite special was I got there like literally as they were closing. And I was the only one in the shop. And it was a Friday. Yeah, because I have Fridays off right now. It was a Friday, and the guy was telling me that the specialty menu wasn't going to come out till Saturday, the next day. And I was like, oh, damn. And then so I kind of sat there like looking at the menu, like, because I just heard that their specialty is like the one to get. So I had no idea what I wanted to get. And then the guy was just like, you know what? I have the soup ready. I've been making it all day. It's actually ready. Like if you want and you really want to try it, like I can make it for you now. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, please.
That sounds
then-
great.
So he made it for me, and then because I was the only one there, he was essentially talking to me the whole time. And he was telling me that his soup was a triple soup. He makes 3 different types of soup that he combines before serving. And then, so yeah, like just being able to like go to like this like random place in the middle of nowhere, have their specialty ramen that I wasn't even supposed to get that day, and then the guy just being nice enough to explain like essentially every aspect of the bowl. Yeah, that was one of the more memorable ramen shops that I went to in 2020. And also the fact that like I asked around to like other ramen enthusiasts like whether they've been, and not a single person had even heard of this shop, despite it being so highly ranked on Ramen DB. So yeah, being able to try it and I guess like be one of the first kind of like foreign English speaking ramen guy to like go there and post a photo of it was kind of like, I guess, special to me, memorable. Because like every fucking time I go somewhere, everyone's like, oh yeah, you should try this one. Like, or like, you know, someone else is like, oh yeah, you know, this is really good there. So like, you know, going in almost blind and like picking something that, you know, I didn't have any preconceived like opinions on was really nice.
It's something, I guess, with all the information available these days, that's rarely happens. And then if you have no information and you're just going blind, and then finding something good, I mean, that's even rarer these days, I would say. Yeah, so for my, one of my really interesting experiences was something also that happened in Fukushima Prefecture near Kitakata. Actually going to a place that offers, what's it called? Milk miso ramen. So if you offer, if you get like one of their sets, you actually get like a small bottle of this like super rich, super sweet milk with it. And they're also making the bowl together with this milk, right? And it has like this really like milky richness and this like sweetness of the milk in the background, but also the miso itself. I think it's also like more on the sweeter side. And it's this, especially I can imagine in winter, if you get that, this really rich, salty, sweet experience. Noodles were, I think, a little bit on the like Sapporo style-ish side, like a little bit curly. And it was really, really nice. And then it was run by like this, I think it was a family. This really old lady also talked with us a little bit. Because I guess it's like in this small village in this valley. They don't get a lot of foreigners there. So it was probably very interesting for them to talk to us a little bit what we're doing there and so on. It's very memorable. Nothing that you will probably find in any guides or whatever. But I think I filmed it, and also I might publish this video sometime in 2021. Very memorable experience, and definitely a bowl that's not as easy to get anywhere else. And yeah, that was definitely one of my more memorable experiences. Milk miso ramen. Another one, I think that the story I told already somewhere else. I think on was it on a podcast or I'm not sure, somewhere. Was my visit to the famous Hayashi in Shibuya. That one is famous because of the owner. He's like this, I would say like, he doesn't have a lot of patience for his customers to like look on their phones or talk on their phones or like do anything other than eating ramen. So he's like quite famous for kicking people out. And if you look at the reviews of Hayashi in Shibuya, you actually see that the reviews are full with like 1-star reviews of people saying like, oh, super rude, like he took our bowl away and this and that. And until then, I had never been there. And that was like, I think beginning of this year that I finally made it there. And because they're only open for lunch, it's not so easy when you have a full-time job. But once you work from home and you live in not far from Shibuya, it's not so hard. So I went there and I got my bowl, and I took 2 pictures with no problem. But while I was like, I think 3 or 4 slurps in, suddenly a guy comes in a suit and starts yelling at the owner and goes on like, well, do you remember me? Do you remember me? I was here 2 weeks ago and you took my bowl away just because I was looking at my phone. Like, how dare you? How dare you? Where are my 1,400 yen or whatever the bowl cost? Where's my money? Where's my money? Why did you take my bowl away? Why didn't you give me a warning? Like for 5 minutes, the whole atmosphere in the shop is super tense. Everyone is just really like with their head in their bowl and like silently eating. I saw like a guy next to me. I think he was already done with his bowl, but he couldn't leave because the guy in the suit was just blocking the door for like 5 minutes. He was like yelling at the guy and saying like he wants his money back. And the owner actually said like, no. I told you, how is it? Yeah, I remember you. You did this and that. And that's why I took your bowl away. I gave you a warning and you didn't stop. And that's why you got kicked out. But I mean, it's one thing to read like those reviews and like get read about this reputation. But then actually see this play out in action was kind of an experience. I was like, oh yeah, all right. It seems like it's true. It's not just a reputation. It's actual reality.
I mean, like, obviously I didn't get it like that bad, but when I went, I heard about how long the lines were. So I went 30 minutes early, and I was like snapping photos for my blog. Because I don't like taking photos of too many people if I can like avoid it. And then, so I was there like 30 minutes early taking photos, and then, it's probably like, I think they open at like 11:30 or 11. So I was like 25 minutes early because I got there 30 minutes early and I was taking photos. And then I decided to just wait in line, and then the lady came out of the store and told me they're open for another 25 minutes, so don't wait here. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. So I went to the convenience and like just like killed time there for like 10 minutes, and I went back. And I went back, and it's like 15 minutes before opening. There's like a line of like 10 people in front of me. And I was like, yo, fuck. Man. Okay, like my bad that I was there so early. But there are people that wait in line out here. Like, how early are we supposed to, or
like what is an okay time to be
what
here?
Is the acceptable like amount of time before you guys open? Am I allowed to like wait in line?
I can tell you it's not 25 minutes.
No. I mean, I was like, what? It was kind of like whatever, because I still got in within like the first round of people, I think.
Right. It's not a small shop.
Yeah,
Yes,
but I was just
reasonable.
like,
Like, what
coming
the
back
fuck?
and seeing a line, I was just like, dude, WTF, dude. But whatever. I'm over that shop. I probably won't go back, so.
No, it's just, I mean, the thing is like the bowl is really good. It's this, I think they call it dobutsuke, which means like just animal bowl, because there's just
it's a
like
double
everything,
soup.
right? Yeah.
So it's like like an animal like stock dobutsuke plus like a fish stock that they blend before serving. And like that place, there's a place called Gotsu. Yeah, those are like, I think Kiso. I think Kiso is another one. That style was really popular like 5-6 years ago. And those are like kind of like the only 3 shops that really like kept up its popularity and everything. But yeah, it's like one of those shops that it's quite unique nowadays. You really don't see a lot of those kind of double soup, creamy, like ramen shops.
It's not so
cracked
common
into
anymore,
the top
no.
100 because like that era of that style has passed. But those 3 shops perennially still make in the top 100. So if you're interested, I would recommend going to those 3 places.
Yeah, I think the good thing also about Hayashi is like how easily accessible it is from Shibuya. It's just like a, I don't know, 7-8 minute walk from Shibuya Station, maybe even less if you're walking a little bit faster. And definitely worth a visit, but just consider that at this place, no filming. If you want to snap a picture, just do a quick one and then just, eat your bowl and don't stop until you're done. I think that's always a good rule, unless, you ask them if it's okay to film and whatnot. Yeah, you gotta. All right, then I think we are at the end of our stream for today.
Okay.
Do you have anything else you want to mention? Any special bowl? Any honorable mentions? Anything that's worth mentioning
Not
beyond
really.
that?
Hoping to hit like 250 this year. I only got to like 150 last year because of COVID. So look out for that. And then like I should be done editing my second part of the skimming guide probably by tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be uploading that tomorrow. And then yeah, besides that, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, definitely check out ramenguidejapan.com for in-depth ramen reviews. I think there's currently no other website that parallels those reviews. And then he has some guides up. Check those out. Jiro and Tsukemen, right, at the moment.
Jiro, Tsukemen, EAK is up right now, I think.
And yeah, for more, let's say, videos to look at about some ramen bowls, stick to my channel. But he also has a channel. Check out Ramen Guide Japan, the YouTube channel. And I think that's all for our recap of 2020. And I think I also got into what, 140, 150 bowls in shops, and then if you count like all my homemade ones, like somewhere in the 160s, 170s, I guess. And yeah, it was definitely a ramen heavy year with all the corona stuff going on, with no tourists here. It was a good year to be a ramen hunter or ramen adventurer or whatever you want to call it, a ramen guide. Yeah, I think that's all for 2020. Looking forward to a ramen heavy 2021. Let's see what happens. And if you have some suggestions for videos or to visits, then, you know, drop them down in the comments, and then maybe me and Cody can check those places out and maybe make a video about them, right? And that's all for today. If you like these streams, also let us know in the comments. Check out our Instagrams, Nama Japan TV and Ramen Guide Japan. And yeah, that's it. Any last words?
Nope.
That's all. All right, guys, then see you in 2021.